Fantasy football is my religion.
Smile.
Because I love Brad.
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
All I see are lies and collusion. This whole season is nuts.
Giddy on up, giddy on out.
One-on-one, I'm undefeated, never lost.
Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Gravy, the official podcast of the Kappa Sigma Alumni Fantasy Football Leagues. Hosted by me, your 2014 Bundy champion, and current Dynasty champion, never forget, and the Carver himself, Stu, also a former Dynasty champion. How you doing, Stu?
Pretty good, pretty good. Glad that football is finally here. So excited. It was great to watch. I mean, it was kind of rough to watch your team lose so hard last night. Seemed like they were kind of like cat and mouse game all night long. Like they were playing with them pretty hard and heavy. But it was nice to see some live actual football and not scrimmages or anything else like that. So really good to be back. Really glad to finally be here for our preseason podcast. We haven't heard anything from our partner or our other podcast of the league. I don't know if they just can't get together or they're afraid to compete again this year, but we'll see how that goes. They're listening, of course, because they love our podcast and they still listen every week. And
we love you too because we love our listeners.
We do love our listeners.
Oh, love it.
Not sponsored by Mountain Dew, but would love to be. We sponsor us, it's fine. So today, guys, we've got our dynasty rankings, our dynasty predictions, our preseason / draft rankings for the redraft league, and the predictions for this week. A couple of WAB lottos out there, some collusion corner with our trades this week. Embargoes have fallen, so we'll see. It's pretty interesting. There are some injuries out there. I don't think we're going to talk about most of them. They've kind of been late in the week. Kind of rough a little bit for a couple of us, so we'll see how it goes. But Brad, what do we have for our dynasty rankings?
Okay, so the dynasty rankings. Rod, we got you number 8. Love it. Dylan, 6. Adam, we got you 5. Dixon, we got you 4. Now, 3 and 2, we had the close. It was between Matt and Stu. We didn't know who put it to, but then we realized, oh wait, Stu's won it. So Matt, you're 3, former champion, Stu is at 2, and your current champion at number 1. So yeah, those are your dynasty rankings. And as far as our dynasty matchups for week 1, first up, we got Stu versus Dixon. Stu, who's going to win that? Who's going to take it home?
That's going to be me. I'm gonna absolutely destroy him. I'm projected to be a juggernaut. It's not that I've even there's a chance I outscore that, and I'm already projected at 132 or 134 points, pre the games being played. So. Dixon's actually not that far behind me. I think he's 120 something himself. So it's a good matchup. Things can go sideways. I can go under. He can go way above. So it's still a match. But I think I've got this one.
And Dylan and Lubbock play each other, which is the battle for. Well, they're tanking for Trevor. Well, they're really tanking for Etienne, I think, is the running back for Clemson that's going to be in the draft. Anyways, they're tanking for the top running back in the draft. Neither team wants to win, but somebody has to. But we think Dylan's going to win. I think he has the better lineup. And then Shep, I'm gonna take you down again. And then Adam and Rod, well, it's going to go to Adam. So those are your dynasty matchups. Stu, Dylan, Brad, and Adam. Sipping some kind of victory coffee or Mountain Dew.
Could be.
On Tuesday.
Mountain Dew's gonna happen with or without the victory. Sadness or happiness will occur, but Mountain Dew is a constant. So then we've got the league rankings for the redraft, and this is purely Brad and I's rankings. This is not a consensus rankings like we'll have for the rest of the season, but this is purely standings as Brad and I see it. So who do we have at number 12?
Biased.
Yeah, super biased. Oh, crazy biased.
Yeah. Well, at number 12 is a person who I care deeply for, and he was once known as a guru. But the draft grades he gave out were just so depressing. I have to hold it against him. Adam, you're number 12.
I mean, it could be that you fell asleep during half. Now, you did that the previous year. You did lose 6 games in a row for the previous year also. But this one was out of more of anger at a certain other league champion. So, fair. But you're going to struggle a little bit this beginning of this season. I think you can win a couple, of course, but we'll see how this goes for you this year. Hopefully better than 0-6 start.
Adam, I would have ranked you really higher if you had CMC on your team. But you didn't.
He wasn't going to have CMC. He was going to have Barkley. If you're going to make the joke, make it right.
Sorry. I still would have ranked you a lot higher if you had Barkley on your team.
Golly, I saw that earlier today in the group chat, and I was like, it's not even CMC. That wasn't even who he's going to be drafted. You got to make the joke right if you're going to make it for him.
I'm sorry. Gertz. Number 11, a man who loves Ja Rule. He's a fan. He has autographs. He goes to all the concerts. Even amongst COVID, he don't care. Mo, we got you at number 11, sir.
I'm pretty sure he shanks COVID, if I remember correctly. That's the rumor that's going around. It's very.
You don't eat immunity when your white blood cells have little knives.
It's like COVID's like, nah, I'm going to stay away from that guy. He just keeps it's a little shanky.
Yeah. Well, we got you 11. Who we got at number 10, Stu?
We've got Vince. Made some interesting decisions, lacking in a couple of positions. Some of your running backs are a little wonky and injury prone, so that's where you're at right now. You may not even have Drake for week 1 if the NFL makes the correct decision, or if they don't, if they just give them bye week the first week, which doesn't help any running back ever.
I do have a tip of advice. If you're going to go RB heavy with a quarterback, do not choose a running back in an Adam Gase system. And do not choose a running back whose own team that has him hates him, can't trade him for a 7th rounder. Those are my tips moving forward. That said, you're lucky Leonard Fournette landed with the Buccaneers. It's going to take a while. It's still a downgrade from the workload he would have got in Jacksonville, but still, at least he got some real good value there. But the whole Le'Veon Bell and New York Jets system, them signing Frank Gore, and they got the rookie Perrine out of Florida. No, I don't want any of it. I think he's going to have some good weeks, but the Le'Veon Bell we all once knew and Matt loved is gone.
Yeah, and speaking of Fournette, he kind of screwed over Mo as well with Ronald Jones.
Yeah, that's another reason he had to rank below Mo. That and Singletary being an RB2 is not looking good right now.
Yeah,
and the Ronald Jones thing devastating to you.
Yeah, that's right.
Number 9. Number 9, Stu. Who do we got number 9?
We've got Matthew Shepard, Uncle Fluffy, Shipshape, whatever you want to call him. The embargo breaker, if you will. That is your official title this year. The embargo breaker. Like you raged for the embargo so hard, and then you're the one who broke it. I understand. Do what you're gonna do. We all knew it was gonna happen. But, most of us weren't the ones, like, raging so hard against don't trade with Brad, and then you're the first one to trade with Brad that for players that neither one of you even have on your rosters currently.
I'll say this, that Brad Bargo was really strong there for a while. It was resilient.
It was
talking about Matt.
It was very
We'll
upset.
talk about that in part.
That embargo really upset Brad too.
Matt, I like your team, and I think Jonathan Taylor is going to be a beast. But your wide receiver 2 is AJ Green, and your wide receiver 1 is Devontae Adams, who I love. When's the last time Devontae Adams finished 16 games? And when's the last time AJ Green just got his first full practice since 2018, just the other day.
He hasn't played since 2018, correct?
Yeah. So, it's scary. I love the Russell Wilson at quarterback. He's going to be a beast as always. Hunter Henry, solid tight end. A wide receiver. I love Devontae Adams, but the rest of your running backs and wide receivers scare me. Not a big fan of Kenyon Drake. I could be wrong. I could be proven way wrong, but every time I've seen Kenyon Drake drafted high, he just disappoints. Hopefully this is different. Hopefully this man flourishes in the system because he's very, very talented. But in the other areas, we got you at number 9, Matt.
Yeah. And then at number 8, who do we have, Brad?
Oh, we have the man who used to own Russell Wilson. The man who is, I say, arrogant, courageous, smarter than us all, for starting the Lizard King himself.
That was pretty. That was pretty absurd. Like that was. I mean, he did do well last week, but yeah.
We all know Sammy Watkins has big week ones, but none of us had the balls big enough to start him like they did. And he did it with Mahomes. And he started Will Fuller. Sam, I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't think you're going to win this week. Not after that hot start. But comparing his roster to everyone else's, the duration of the season where it is now, we got day at 8.
Agreed. Team is good. Like that's the actual thing. Like you did some weird things at the draft, but like you still formed a really good team. Your running backs or wide receivers could be a whole lot better if you had taken one of them at 3 instead of Russell Wilson. You didn't get a return on the value. Your team did get better with the trade, and I will agree with Matt on that. But you didn't have. Your team wouldn't have needed to get better if you had one of those players at 3.
If you take draft advice today, I wouldn't recommend me or Stu. I would recommend our supreme leader, Samuel Bartlett. He's probably going to give you the most neutral opinion out of everyone. Just a penny for my thoughts there.
Fair. Speaking of our great leader, he is at number 7. I like his team. He's got solid wide receiver 1. His running backs are good. David Johnson looked great last night, by the way.
Yes, he did.
He did. Even with such a rough game script that they were having to go off of, being behind, he still was a very big focal point of that team. So I liked it.
They're going to try to slow games down with David Johnson, just like they did kind of Carlos Hyde last year. They don't have a choice. They're going to run it, and they're going to give that man lots of value.
Yeah, our only real thing I'm looking at here is just your wide receivers is kind of like Odell Beckham if Odell Beckham goes back to Odell Beckham of old, you're going to be great. You're going to be a powerhouse throughout the entire season. If he did what he did last year to Brad, he's going to cost you some weeks. And Stephon Diggs as your second wide receiver is also one of those up and down. We don't know what he's going to produce there. I like his new quarterback. Like I actually am okay with that team for him, but I just don't know. We just don't know what's going to happen yet with that. So that's where you took the risk at it.
Stephon Diggs have eerily similar numbers to Tyreek Hill. Numbers don't lie.
Yep. So, at number 6, who do we have, Brad?
Number 6, we have Copro, Mr. Revenge of the Carpet Pickle. Love the logo. It's hilarious.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, well done.
I think you have a playoff caliber team. Your running backs are solid. Joe Mixon, Melvin Gordon's a good cast to go off of. It's not the running backs people go, yeah, but the reason why you have that is because you have another guy at your wide receiver one, which people actually do go, yeah, with, which is Julio freaking Jones. And so, yeah, you got Julio and Joe Mixon, got Melvin Gordon. You stole my boy Deshaun Watson. We're going to see how that pans out. That's really going to depend how your team goes is, can they rebound and he have high-scoring games without Nuke? They did have Brandon Cooks. They brought him in, but quad injury is very limited. He left the game. Duke Johnson, sprained ankle. He's out for a while. That was David Johnson. And Randall Cobb didn't do nothing. They gave that man a pretty good contract. So he still's disappeared. So we're going to see what happens moving forward. But, Sean Watson can get it going and get you points. You'll be fine. I'm sure you love them garbage point touchdowns at the end.
Yeah.
They saved your butt. But those 2 points from the kicker hurt you. You might stick with that kicker, though. They might be kicking more field goals than they are scoring touchdowns this season. So, but we'll see what happens. But I have you as like one of those teams that's right there, able to make the playoffs with what you already have.
If Keenan Allen is half as good as he looked on Hard Knocks, I think he was one of the best steals of the draft, like that late for him. And then A.J. Brown right there, I like both of those wide receivers, so they're solid. You've got a solid team, for sure solid. Running backs are like your kind of weakness there, so that typically is a lot of people's weakness. So we'll see how everything goes there.
Starters, no depth. Good starters, just no depth. But the starters aren't starters are gonna oh yeah, but that's because you don't have Joe Mixon can be really, really good, but are they going to use him in the passing game or keep doing Giovanni Bernard? It's been a thing we've been telling Joe Mixon for seasons now is are they going to actually use him in the receiving game? Because he's really good at it when they use him. So if they use him in the receiving game, you have a top 10 back.
And then next, at number 5, we've got Dylan. For a guy returning from the league, you've put a really good team together here. And I'm pretty sure Matt quoted, "That's my team." It's basically the team Matt wanted to draft right there. So Matt is going to be, if you win this, Matt will never let any of us hear the end of it. It's going to be a holy nightmare. So good luck on that part. Dalvin Cook, Hopkins, Chris Carson, Juju, Zach Ertz, Josh Allen. That's a solid starting roster right there. Juju's your only kind of question mark wide receiver, just because I think Matt's going to say he's going to be amazing because he's a Steelers fan. I think he will be really good this year as long as Big Ben is there. So that is the only thing that really questions that. And you have his backup in case something happens or just has standalone value in Johnson.
Yeah, he has Deontay Johnson. So, one of those guys is going to break out. Someone has to. It's Big Ben throwing the ball. So you're going to have the number one for Pittsburgh no matter what. I don't think it's going to be James Washington. I don't think it's going to be Chase Claypool as the rookie. It's going to be one of those two. And then, like I said, freaking Dalvin Cook. Until he got hurt last year, he was the number 2 running back in fantasy football. Dude is a beast. I think he'll be fine. I think they're going to rely on the run even a little bit more this year with Stephon Diggs gone. Justin Jefferson's a rookie. But the offense isn't going to change that much up there in Minnesota. They're probably going to want to make sure they slow the game down because their defense is kind of reeling a little bit. So we'll see what happens there against Green Bay. But yeah, it's a solid team. I mean, I love the tight end, Zach Ertz. I think he's still going to be the number one wide receiver basically in Philadelphia. You're going to get ticked at Dallas Goedert when he, vultures a couple touchdowns on you, but comes to the territory with that team. But yeah, it's solid. I like Josh Allen for like the first 6 games of the season. His schedule's really, really nice. After that, I wouldn't know if I rely on them every week after that. I think you're streaming after that. But for the first 6 weeks to get going, I mean, if you start 6-0, you don't care. So yeah, it's a great team, great core. I love it.
Agree. Brad, who do we have at number 4? Do you know this player? Do you know this team very well?
Yeah, I know this person very well. He was really good 6 years ago, 2014. Hasn't he sniffed the Bundy Bowl several times. He's won some league scoring titles since then, but for not was up short. Gets his butt whooped in the playoffs. It is what it is, but it's me. So I'll let you go over my team, Stu.
Yeah, be quiet, Carpenter. So we've got Josh Allen, we've got Aaron Jones. You don't have Taylor on your team anymore, but you replaced Taylor with Adam Thielen. So Taylor is supposed to be really good, but Thielen is really good. So you went for the win now instead of the potential of win later. Yeah, so your running backs are solid with the top 2 there. You've got some other ones at Dobbins, Moss, and Dylan to back up Aaron Jones. So you've really got your team solidified for now. Later, you've got some lottery tickets, but your wide receiver core is the one that just shines here with Thielen, Cooper, McLaurin, and Brown. Yeah, I mean, you literally with those 4, you get to just kind of play the matchups where you're not playing. You're probably not going to play Cooper this week because he's got such a rough guy to match up with. So you still got 3 solid guys for wide receiver, and it's just going to blow it out of the water. So yeah, I like your team quite a bit. It's definitely got playoff goals here with some staying power for later on. So I think you.
I just really hope that Rieger or Brian Edwards, one of them hits. Brian Edwards has been not Henry Ruggs, and Brian Edwards has been the talk at camp for Oakland all season with the beat reporters.
Yeah.
Derek Carr compared to Devontae Adams, but Jalen Rieger, Philadelphia, there ain't nobody else to throw to there besides Zach Ertz. So he may play this Sunday. So I'm really hoping if one of those 2 pans out, Hollywood's gonna be Hollywood. The dude played with a pin last year. He's 100% healthy this year. So, we'll see how he goes. We know what Terry is, Scary Terry is, or backup Terry. That's my favorite. What you doing, Terry? And then, Cooper can have his up and down games. Thielen, an injury risk. But, I just need, if one of those guys pans out, I'll feel really comfortable. The Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones RB combo. And I almost took CEH in front of Josh Jacobs, but I couldn't do it. Thought Josh Jacobs was the safest pick there. CEH almost made it back to me, and then you Dixon.
Yeah, Dixon would have. You would not have been able to get Josh Jacobs on the way back. He would have gotten taken before that.
No,
so yeah,
no.
You had to
Look
do
at my rankings. I had Josh Jacobs right above CEH, but I'll take Aaron Jones, who finished RB2 last year. Fantasy football is my RB2, so he's not going to finish that this year, but I think it's still going to put up points. So we'll see what happens. Minnesota's tough defense. Got a tough matchup against Dixon this week, but we'll talk about that later. Number 3, speaking of that, we have Dixon.
Yeah, Dixon. Like your team is a mix of second year breakouts of a couple of rookie with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You've got really good wide receiver depth. Running back, it seems to be your only issue, and that's the only reason you're here at 3. You probably would have been 2 or 1, but your injury risk already coming into even this week seems to be affecting your team a little bit. They're more questionable. It's not complete total outs like mine. But, yeah, yours is still going to be a really good team. This week may struggle a little bit, but as long as they don't, completely injure themselves this week, your team's got a real shot at quite a few wins.
Personally, if I was you, Dixon, I'd be okay if they sat out Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, and Miles Sanders, and been completely healthy for the next week. But I'm biased because I'm playing you. But seriously though, if you have those guys be healthy and they're healthy the rest of the way, it may take Cortland Sutton a little bit with that shoulder. I want them to make sure they got that straightened out. Because otherwise what can happen is Jerry Jeudy can come in and just take over the alpha male role on that and just run with it. And then you're in trouble because what's Sutton going to do? He's going to be the speedster? Oh, wait, that's KJ Hamler. What else is he going to do? Well, Gordon does everything else. And then you got little Philip Lindsay. So, there's only so many mouths to feed in Denver. So, you want to make sure Sutton's healthy and he keeps his role, doesn't, give that up to Jeudy.
Yep.
But I think he will. Sutton's really good. The man is terrific on catches beyond 25+ yards. I think he was top 3 last year, maybe top 2. Something ridiculous. Rookie of SMU, came from that offensive genius, Chad Morris. So yeah, no, I think you're great. I like the team. Hate that you still see EH on me. That's one of the reasons I have you up so high. So yeah. You can still beat me this week because you got freaking Tyler Boyd just sitting in your bench. You're like me, pretty good wide receiver depth. So when I heard about the Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, one might miss, oh, cool. Oh, wait, who does he have on his bench? It's freaking Tyler Boyd. This is BS. So you're good there. Your tight end's fine. Yeah, so we got you number 3. Number 2?
Who we got, Brad? It's all you on this one.
We have my pod mate. My podcaster for life here, Stu, Mr. Fred Durst himself, does it all for the Nookie, and he took that cookie, and that cookie was CMC, and that automatically puts in the top 2. That's all I think. Somebody goes, there's somebody out there that we draft with that has CMC, Mike Evans, and Kenny Galladay, and possibly Cortland Sutton. They said, I don't care. I don't feel bad at you for all because you have CMC and you probably still maybe might win. So CMC plays the Las Vegas Raiders this week. Yeah, CMC's good. I don't care about the head coaching change. I don't care about they're good. Is he going to have the year he had last year? Percentage? Probably not. Is he still going to be a top 5 running back? Yeah. Guy's good. He saw it in Stanford. We watched him play all those years in college football. So, yeah. No, CMC gets you number 2. Kenny Galladay, Kenny G, so smooth. I was really hoping you'd pass on him and somehow slip down because a lot of people have Kenny G like me and you. And I was like, oh, if he makes it past Stu, oh, yeah, we could be talking. And then you took DJ Shark. I hate you. Mm-hmm. It's really get him back on the back end there, but you took him. Yeah, and then Mr. Bobby Trees, you got him too. So yeah, solid team. That Matt Stafford quarterback, you wait on quarterback, which is always a smart move when you're the top of the draft like that. Solid team, so we got you number 2. And who we have at number 1? I care about this so much. I'm going to leave while Stu talks about this so I can get a beer. That's how much I care about who number 1 is. Okay? Because all he's going to do is post and brag about it and go, y'all made fun of my 2 tight end thing. You won't trade for it. I'm going to grab a beer. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the compliments that are about to be showered upon you. I'll be back for the rest.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Showering favor upon this person is not what I want to do right now because I play him this week. So it was not easy or fun to rank Lubbock at number 1, but he had a very good draft. He did really well. Zeke easily could go number 2, number 1. So yeah, that's just a great foundation. Got James Conner. He took James Conner where I probably should have. But you know, that's really just a strong point. He got Kelsey at 2, waited on wide receiver, and got Mark Andrews at 3, and then swooped back around. And his number 1 wide receiver is Tyler Lockett, which could easily be in the top 10 wide receivers next year, or this year. I mean, so. Yeah, he's got some questions on where to go with different wide receivers, but they're still strong. He's got a lot of options, and that's where his only downfall is. He's got to find someone that's just going crazy this year that he snipes and puts in his wide receiver 2, and he is going to have a really good year.
Better snipe well, because we'll get to his WAB situation later on.
Yeah, he's gonna have to really, really find some things that. Yeah,
that's right. Too many compliments will come in and shower you some negativity.
Yeah, negativity. Some we're making fun of you kind of situation. Not sponsored by Bud Light, by Busch Light, but we're totally down. Yeah, Busch Light. We'll go ahead and. Oh, that's not. Okay. Anyways, we're not sponsored. We totally will be. With our 12 viewers a week, yeah, we're popping off here. But yeah, Lubbock, your team is good. We've got you at number 1. We'll see how that relates in our predictions. Brad, who do we have predicted to win for me versus Lubbock? Actually, no, we've got a couple other things. Actually, that's coming later, actually. We're not even at that point. We're actually going to go to Collusion Corner. What do we have for our crazy trades and league upsets? Because we did have some league upsets and embargo breakers, if you will. Brad, what do we got here?
The wall has fallen. The embargo has been destroyed, dismantled. I mean, it was tough. It was a tough embargo. Y'all don't know. I'd send feelers out there. I'd text and everything. Hey, how about this? You know some of the replies I got back were? Embargo. Hashtag Brad Bargo. That's all I got back. Yeah, I like that guy. No, I don't like that guy. No, not even. They wouldn't let me in the door. They wouldn't open the door. They closed the dang people. They didn't look at that darn thing. But the person who was one of the strongest backers in Embargo, he helped build this thing brick by brick, mortar by mortar. I mean, it was a feat that would rival the pyramids of Giza. This embargo wall that was built, but he tore it down. He tore it down with a simple trade for Raquel Armstead in exchange for Larry Fitzgerald,
which neither one of you have. Neither one of you have on your rosters currently.
That's all it took. That's all it took to unleash the Kraken.
Now, Brad, before we go on, I will say, this is the absolute best joke I have ever made in my entire life, and it went so much farther. It was literally at the last second of our podcast. I made a joke, and everybody in the league went so much harder than I ever predicted. Thank you guys so much for taking it. It was great. Like, I started to feel bad that I even made the joke. That's how good it was. Because Brad was like, you could see it in our group messages how upset it was making Brad. And I was feeling bad because I made a joke, a serious joke that I actually followed pretty hard, that I don't really trade Brad very much. But a joke to the rest of the league that you guys all campaigned behind. I felt the love. I just want to say thank you to that. Matt, you broke it with you.
If you're referring to calling other league members commies for not trading with me, well then, yes, sir, you are correct. My wife came home one day and she goes, how'd your day go? I said, oh, it went well. Raiden had a snack before, he just had a snack before dinner. I called Matt a commie. She goes, what? I said, you won't play with me, he's a commie. And she goes, okay then.
Yeah. There was a point where like Lauren was like the messages just kept flowing for a little bit there of like Brad Bargo, and like Lauren's like, what is happening? Why are you getting so many notifications? And I'm like, because everybody is campaigning to block Brad from trading, and Brad is upset about it, and no one's gonna win because somebody's gonna trade Brad, and then everybody's just gonna act like it never happened. So that's where we're at right now.
So which is funny because it was the whole point was we don't want Brad taking advantage of anybody. Brad's gonna the whole CMC thing last year kind of left everybody the sour taste in their mouth. And I understand. The true winner last year was actually Mo getting Lamar Jackson. I just want to get that across. But yeah, so the next trade was definitely, I believe, Lamar Jackson-esque, which was Matt sending Damian Harris, a.k.a. Strong Hand, and Marvin Jones to Dave for Russell Wilson. Dude, your thoughts? Any condolences? Are we grieving for, this unfortunate events that occurred?
I mean, condolences to Day's draft value. Or his draft pick, because he would not have drafted either one of these people or both of them together in the same draft pick if he could have. Marvin Jones, really good wide receiver. Day does need that for his team. I don't think Harris is even on Day's team now. So now it's Marvin Jones for Russell Wilson, which is even more lopsided, and the entire
Harris is probably even on his own team in real life. He's got a broken hand.
Yeah. It was interesting. So, Day's team probably lost out value a little wise, but gained the wide receiver he needed. So Day did what he needed to do. Matt, did what he wanted to do and got the guy he wanted.
Well, the draft rate between me and Matt for Armstead Fitzgerald doesn't matter. That's both an doesn't matter. Did nothing for anybody. What is your draft grade for Matt and Day on this trade?
For value of so draft grade for the actual trade, not that Harris is gone now or any of the rest of that current value, it's probably Day gets a C at best, probably C minus. Matt gets an absolute A plus. Two bench players that he probably wasn't going to play anytime soon for Russell Wilson, his current quarterback. So A plus for Matt, C minus for Day at the very least. I'm probably being kind.
I agree, especially with the situation that was going on with Philadelphia with Carson Wentz, their offensive line getting hurt. Jalen Rieger's time got hurt. Didn't know if he was going to be back. Alshon Jeffrey still can't be back. Miles Sanders didn't get. So A plus for Matt. I give a D for Day. But it kind of moves up to a C just because in hindsight with the news of Kenny G, he'll get some good points this week out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. The next trade is me and Matt again. I send Matt Hunter Henry and Jonathan Taylor, which was very, very hard to do. I'm very high on Jonathan Taylor this year, very high. To Matt for Adam Thielen. Go ahead and do your
review the trade.
Yeah, grades too.
All right. So I like Hunter Henry. You guys probably like him more than I do. Like last year, he destroyed me when Brad traded him to Lubbock and destroyed me that week. So the guy is good. He doesn't have his starting quarterback anymore. He doesn't have Phillip Rivers there. it is Tyrod Taylor, which likes to run a little bit more. I could see him dumping off to Hunter Henry. I could see him throwing to him as well, but I haven't actually seen that even in Hard Knocks. I haven't seen that connection with those two. So that had to be built up. So he's a good player no matter what. He's a good player. He's an injury risk player. So that's the only downside for him. Taylor is supposed to be a really good. He is a very good player. He is a
prospect.
Yes, he is a rookie. We did see a rookie last night go off and be on a top tier team and have a really good night last night. That does not always occur, at least not at the beginning. He could.
I guess my question used to. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Very good.
Who is better, Marlon Mack or Darrell Williams?
Probably Marlon Mack.
Okay, so I think Jonathan Taylor is going to eventually take this job over. But I think it's going to take a couple weeks. I don't think it's going to be handed to him like it was CEH.
Yes, and I don't think he's going to get the passing role like CEH is going to get because Hines is there. He's the pass catching guy there. So yeah. Taylor does that well, but I don't think he's going to get that. He's going to eventually take the first and second role, possibly the goal line stuff. So that's where his value is, but he's not a guaranteed right now I'm going to win you games player. So Hunter Henry is that guy right now, and Matt did majorly upgrade at tight end, but Taylor is not a guaranteed right now winner. He is an eventual potential league winner or at least playoff guaranteer. But Adam Thielen is a I want to win right now player. And he's going to have a good year. He doesn't have Diggs stealing from him. He's had all off season to heal from last year. Last year he tried to come back way too early and really burnt me through that second half of the season last year. But he's a good player. He's going to help Brad win now and not later. So that's where part of Matt's draft grade or his ranking came in, was that Hunter Henry helps him now, Taylor helps him later, Thielen helps Brad absolutely right now, and all Brad has to do now is stream tight end, which there are still, even with all of us taking as many tight ends as we can find out there are still other tight ends out there that could go off week one, and Brad can just go spend some WAB and go get a really good tight end off the waiver wire. So, I think Brad gets a B only because he's a B plus, only because he did lose tight end value, which is a rare commodity. There are a lot of guys out there, and he's got a shot at finding a diamond in the rough somewhere, but he lost the immediate value for that position right now. He lost Taylor with a future value, but he got a really, really solid piece for his team and has been the number one wide receiver in years past, and has no competition. I mean, he has rookie competition, but wide receivers, we all know that tends to take time to develop. And Adam Thielen and him have worked together for multiple years now. So I'm going to give Brad a B+, and Matt probably a B-, just because he hurt his he hurt his wide receiver core, but upgraded his tight end core so much that it kind of made up for it a little bit, and then really gave his running backs a really good future bump. So Matt is 9 now and has room to grow quite a bit. So B+ and B-. It's a really good trade. It doesn't really hurt anybody really bad.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Especially David Montgomery with his groin injury at the time, and well, Kenyon Drake was just getting out of a walking boot. So, yeah, let's just say I think it gives him the depth. I think John Pettis is going to be in his RB1 for the years over with. I'll be honest.
It could be.
Next trade we have, and the final trade for the collusion corner is me sending J.K. Dobbins. Me receiving J.K. Dobbins, and who's my John Pettis replacement, and sending Tevin Coleman to GoPro.
Yep. So yeah, CoPro, you wanted Dobbins and went after Dobbins before CoPro got to talk to me because he was going to, but you did snipe him up quickly. You gave him
almost half. Close.
So Coleman is not. As long as he can stay healthy, he could provide some stability for CoPro that his running back position needs. Dobbins isn't guaranteed to get the role this year at all. He's got a very good shot. If Ingram goes down at all, Dobbins is the man. But Dobbins is going to slowly throughout the year learn from Ingram, and he's going to get his opportunities. But what he does with it is kind of up in the air. That is Brad's lottery ticket, and that's what he wanted for him more than Coleman. I don't feel like Coleman is a lottery ticket. That running back core last year was outrageous for the 49ers, and a lot of the extra guys have gone away, but Coleman is not the number one. So
I would argue Coleman's the higher floor and Dobbins is the higher ceiling.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll give B's all around. It's not like A plus anywhere or A minus anywhere. It's just B's. It's two good players, giving people what they want. You wanted a lotto. He wanted a stability. The team's got what they wanted. It wasn't crazy. It upsets me more than anything just because I don't have my backup. So, and Brad's good with that. Brad's really good with that.
It's out of my face, Stu, for me to have my backup for Aaron Jones, to have your backup for Mark Ingram. Then you have Dylan's backup for Dalvin Cook, so it all evens out.
And Dixon's backup in Boston Scott, the guy that you didn't get at the draft. Suck it, Brad.
I won him right there too, and I thought I was gonna get him like later too, and you were a jerk face. You took him on me.
I did.
I remember. I was upset. I threw a tantrum at the draft. I threw a little mini tantrum.
You did.
I was upset. It had nothing to do with Samuel Adams Oktoberfest run through my veins. No, it had nothing to do with that. It was you stole Boston Scott from me, and I was upset.
Yep.
It's okay. I still have Zach Moss ranked above Boston Scott, but I was like, I'm going to get Boston Scott on the way back. I'm going to get him. And then you were just a jerk.
Yeah, well,
not a gentleman.
See, but the real thing is that Moss has got to earn his spot where there's a potential that,
I would argue Moss has already earned it and surpassed Singletary. He's going to get all those goal line carries that Gore couldn't convert.
See, but Sanders is currently injured, and Scott has got a really good shot at potentially even playing this week.
The only argument I have is the reason I prefer Moss over Scott is just draft capital.
Yeah.
Even though it's Moss's rookie year and it's Scott's second year, Doug Peterson's a jerk face.
Fair.
When it comes to running backs, but Boston Scott was really, really good. But I could see him all of a sudden. You'd be like, "Oh, it's gonna be Boston Scott time," and the freaking Corey Clement gets 20 carries. You're like, "This is
dumb. This is really dumb." Yeah. All right. So
the Boston Scott is a little darling in the fantasy football community. He always was. He's a great player to have on your bench. People that really pay attention to everything, really targeted, because Philadelphia didn't go out and get another running back. It's Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, and Corey Clement, and that's it. That's how much faith they got in it, in those two.
Yep.
That doesn't just speak to Miles Sanders. That just speaks to Boston Scott saying Miles Sanders goes down, you feel very comfortable with Boston Scott.
Yep. And then I think that is it for our crazy trades and league upsets. We're going to go ahead and move to our WAB Lotto. Brad, what do we have? We've only got two. We've only had two WAB Lotto transactions. Myself for $3 for your kicker, which I love. Thank you for that. Thanks for that 10 points.
You got 10 points. Still, I don't feel bad about it. There'd be a chance I could get a starting running back out of it. It was wrong, but I'll always sacrifice the kicker for that.
Why is that? Because aren't they important, Brad? Brad, aren't they important?
Well, I mean, you spent 3 WAB on him, so obviously he's pretty important. But not as important as the next WAB one, which is Chase Edmonds got dropped by Vince. And Chase Edmonds had 3 bids. There was a $3 bid. Who had the $3 bid?
I honestly don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Did you have $3 bid?
I did not. I actually didn't bid at all. I had $0 in this at all. I knew he was there, and I didn't want to drop anybody. So
go ahead and check that, because I know I had a $5 bid.
You did? I think it may have been Dixon, if I kind of remember looking at it. I looked at it and was like, I was looking at the first 2 and didn't actually see the winner yet, and then my eyes popped out of my head. Yeah.
42 WAB, which a source has told me liquor is to be blamed in this situation. So don't drink and WAB, guys. Just like I always say, don't drink and draft. 42 WAB, almost 50% before on Thursday Night Football. On Thursday, the day of, 42% of his WAB. Lubbock wins Chase Edmonds. I was surprised Matt didn't make one. I told Lubbock, because he texted me this morning, well, I guess I won. And I said, I really thought it was going to be Matt because he's got King and Drake. And nope. Matt didn't even bid.
It was you for $1. It was Mo for $5, and then Lubbock for 42 WAB.
Okay, I think it was 5, and I dialed it back down to 1.
The fact that Mo paid attention. Mo put money out there. Mo doesn't ever put money on WAB for anything. He sure wasn't putting $42 out there, 42% or however you want to say it. 42. That's a big loss. That's 30. Yeah, that's ginormous. 37 points over the next person.
So Lubbock, you're gonna be spending pretty cheap here for a while.
Dollar bid here, dollar bid there. Golly. All right. So next we've got Laura Bell Bundy's Big Board of Bets. Oh wait, no we don't, because I don't know where they're at. They're in the car. So we'll do that later. See you guys. We'll do that another time. So what we've got is Brad and Stu's biased matchup predictions of the week.
Very biased.
Super biased. God, they're so biased. So I mean, if you can guess by our rankings, we've got Stu versus Lubbock. If you think it's me, you're wrong. Lubbock for the win. That's what Sleeper says. That's what, with Galladay down, it really kind of gives Lubbock a shot at it really well. I'm hoping on Gallup to cover for him, but we'll see. I don't know. It's going to be close. It's going to be a really good game.
And the Tim Burt strategy of multiple tight ends is paying off.
So far. I mean, when you go double tight end, I mean, it helps to get the first and the third. Really, really helpful.
Yep. The next one, Adam versus Mo. Well, Adam, you saw our rankings, and that you don't have Saquon Barkley. Mo does have Saquon Barkley, and so we're gonna go with Mo. I'm not
doing this. This isn't me. I promise. It's not me. It's all Brad. Oh, golly. Whew, you're 2 beers in. You did third beer, and I'm going to start offering you trades here in a minute, sir.
Actually, this is number 3 that I'm going to
Smart. Adam, this is how you get Saquon Barkley at 2.
So So Mo, we have you winning because USA comes. Sam versus Day. Day, we have you winning because of the Lizard King. You started freaking Sammy Watkins. Who does that? You had Marvin Jones on the bench, Kenny Galladay gonna be out, and you started Sammy Watkins, and Will Fuller goes off, and I could only see Sam just watching it, going, "That son of a bitch."
There was shots of there.
Sammy Watkins had a touchdown. They called it back, and they're like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
the Lizard King's getting this touchdown."
I feel like there were shots of Tito's and just like that son of a bitch. Like, yeah, that like
There's Tito bottles getting thrown. I'm pretty sure his blue healer is running for cover. Like, I've never seen Daddy like this.
this is the real Sam. So
yeah. So Day, enjoy getting your audit later. You're gonna be out some money. Vince and Matt, man, we talked in length about this before we recorded, and we were torn. But with the way the matchups are kind of going, we had to actually we had to lean toward Vince. I think Le'Veon Bell actually does have a good week this week. Stu agrees. Yeah. So yeah, it was just.
This is actually I haven't actually told Brad this. This is actually going to be my game of the week.
It's rightly so because it's going to be close.
We really debated over this one, like who different players we liked, what we thought they were going to do this week.
It was almost 50-50. Like it was down the line. Like one had one had the other. It's going to be a close one. Yeah, I agree. Game of the week.
Yep. And then we've got CoPro versus Dylan. You both got good teams. I mean, you're both similarly ranked. I mean, yeah, you're right there next to, CoPro at 6, Dylan at 5. So this actually goes on in line with our rankings as well. And so we went Dylan here. Both got good teams, got some stuff to work out, but Dylan looks like he's going to edge it out this week.
Yep, we would Dylan. And yeah, I agree. You just kind of had a little bit of the better matchups, and then we had Brad, myself, speaking third person, versus Dixon. Despite the stuff about Mike Evans and Carl Sutton, Lowe's probably gonna play. We went with Dixon. The good game for CEH. I'll be honest, I don't like my matchups. Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones against Minnesota, not that great. It could be really good, but. Last season, those didn't go well. So I'm still leaning towards you. Stu was too. That really good performance by CEH really puts you up. If Miles Sanders plays, you're looking pretty. And you have a much better tight end than I do.
I mean, it's really your injury designations are really going to decide the game. Like, we like your team in general. Like, you're going to – if it was just straight up all of your players are playing that are currently lined up – you're probably going to win it because that's just the way it was going to go. But your Mike Evans possibly not playing, Sanders possibly not playing could sway it the other way. But this is at least what we're going to go with right now because this is the current information we know, and it looks like they're going to play. If they're out there, they're going to play. And so
if you play 4 players with freaking Tyler Boyd. I mean, yeah, I'm not very comfortable there. I mean, it is a rookie quarterback throwing to him. You got AJ Green back, but I still think Tyler Boyd has a decent game.
Tyler Boyd statistically does better when AJ Green is there than when he's not. AJ Green gets the pressure, and then they throw to Tyler Boyd a lot of times, or that's what Andy Dalton did a lot of times. So we'll see if that's what the rookie does.
He's gonna listen to this before Sunday. He's gonna go, well, does that mean that Brad want me to put Tyler Boyd in, or does this mean that
he's messing with me?
Being honest, and to Dixon, here did I tell you, you're never gonna know. I'm not telling you. I could be just bullshitting right here. I want you to put Tyler Boyd in, or I don't want you to put Tyler Boyd in. You don't know. Enjoy going through all the rankings. and tweeting at fantasy analysts going, "So I do Tyler Boyd or this person, or this person or this person," because I'm not going to tell you if I'm just trying to stir the pot and mess with your mind. But no, seriously.
Okay.
Boys are
All right. So this is a message to future Stu. Don't let Brad drink while we do the podcast. Savage Brad comes out when the third beer hits. I mean, we just go to town. So guys, that is all we've got today for you. Brad, do you have any last words of wisdom or notes for our very first week of fantasy football? It is finally here. Finally.
Enjoy it. If you lose, who cares? You have it next week. It's just fun to do something with y'all. You know, if you see stuff in Group B, something like, "Oh, I hate that trade," or "I hate that move," "Oh, I'm upset." But just remember, we can't see tone and stuff. You can't hear tone in text messages or anything. Most of it's in a joking manner, I promise. You know, enjoy doing this with y'all. Bye for the season. I'll have a good one.
See you guys. Peace.